Hey everyone, this is Farel Dalrymple, drawings 354 through 363, daily drawings I should say, and this will be the last video I'll be making this year, but there's only 3 days left, so I'll do another one after the New Year's with the last 3 drawings, and but this should wrap up the alphabetod, the alphabet I've been doing with Robot Todd, and this is R for something, I don't remember what I wrote here, and I can't really see it because this thing's in the way. Robot, duh. Okay, yeah, obviously, this is R for robot. And S for spirit, which I felt like, yeah, that kind of represents Robot Todd. He's got a lot of spirit. So I also put in a bunch of S stuff, like spaceship, spectrum, sprocket, screw, snake. It's pretty obvious here, I guess. Like, it's not, I don't know why I'm bothering explaining, but each one of these I approached in a different, well, I mean, I used a brush and a pen with every one, but I kind of, depending on my mood, sometimes I would just draw them all out with a pen first. Sometimes I would just start going in straight with a brush. And I've said this in a couple other, these more recent videos doing these alphabets. The black ink over the main letter, that was like the consistent thing I wanted. Be like, oh, I want a big bold black letter, and then everything else kind of in the background or foreground, kind of around, not blocking the letter, but sort of framing it. And the interesting thing that happened was that I noticed with the ink, which is something I've never been bothered with before, because if I do watercolor, if I use straight watercolor, I don't notice this, or straight, like acrylic, or if straight ink, I don't notice it because I'm like messing with the levels in the computer when I ink something, because usually black and white when I ink it, and then I'll scan it and then, maybe add color layers over it or not. But when I'm hand doing stuff, I don't know if it's like the mixing of these things or just because there's a big solid black area, but I had a really hard time with figuring out how to not get streaks, like the streaks on the big black area, because I think it's something about the acrylic ink. And when you level it, it doesn't matter because you're not going to get those gradations. But something about, because I try not to mess with these too much after I scan them. Or I don't mess with them at all yet. Maybe when I put these in a book, I'll touch them up and stuff. But as the daily drawings go, they're just raw scans. And this one came out pretty good because I think around the U is when I discovered that if I lay it on really thick and then I go over kind of, gently with an eraser after it's dried solidly, it kind of picks up the weird surface dust or whatever that is, the surface stuff, and smooths it out a lot more and actually makes it look darker. And so, my scanner is an old scanner, but I don't know if it's something about like the reflection of the surface and, me not knowing about the settings or whatever, but they just kind of end up looking really weird before I started doing that. But these last few, I felt like I kind of got it dialed in. And by the time I got to Z, I was like, okay, I could do 26 more of these and be okay with it. Yeah, it's V for verve, which I guess means like energetic and full of life. And this next one here, this is the first drawing I did this year, is Almendra. And I gave a sketchbook to my niece and just did a quick drawing in the front of it. I copied, and I thought I'd include it here just for fun. Just, I don't know, sort of like full circle kind of thing. And this next one, W, there's a lot of kind of Halloween-y words with this, like wizard, witch, werewolf. It's funny too, because like I noticed on the V, there was a lot of energetic-y type, like vigor and vivacious, and I don't know, I felt like there's a couple more, but it's just funny how like certain letters seem to lend themselves to certain themes or things. Yeah, I don't know if that was just something that was in my subconscious, but I tried to go through a lot of vocabulary words to pick out certain ones. And this one was kind of interesting to me that, I don't know, my brain immediately went to xenomorph, like the alien creature. Don't Sue Me, Ridley Scott, or whoever owns the Dark Horse or franchise of that. I figured just putting a little licensed character in the background wasn't that big of a deal, but if anyone asks, it's like a xenomorph instead of a xenomorph. But later I thought, because there's not really many animals that start with X, so later I realized, I'm like, oh, there's this like extinct like wolf, a dog creature that I saw a National Geographic, like an old photo that I actually did a painting of once, and I should have put that in there instead of the alien guy, but whatever. I mean, these are supposed to be done fast, and not too much thought about it. So this is Y for yes, and I thought I'd put a Yeti and a yak in there and a yo-yo, and this one was, I think, a little more fun than some of the other ones, just because there's like, oh, there's a lot of Y stuff. So this one here is the last one, obviously, of the alphabet, and it is Zippy, which I going through these vocabulary lists every day to look for different words. There was Zippy is actually a word, not just Zippy the Pinhead, but I guess it means like full of zip, and it's like, oh, that seems like a good word for Todd, and I threw in some other stuff like zap and zebra. Obviously, you can see the zigzag thing. I used the old Family Circus little device of the little dotted lines, like showing where his trail had gone. So looks like I did a lot of erasing on this on this one, and I think I kept getting interrupted by my cats and stuff too. They've been pretty restless since the weather's been a little more dreary here in Portland, and they require their little bit of attention, which I'm happy to give. Now, for some reason with this, the little toy gun, zap gun, whatever, Zot gun, Scott McCloud's Zot, which, I've never actually read that book, but I know he carried around like a little laser gun, and I should read that. I should read that old series from the 80s, because I enjoyed understanding comics, and I was intrigued by the imagery from it when I was younger. This was kind of tough here with getting the little zap to come out of the laser. I don't know why it got muddy or something, but or tonally the background was so similar that it was really hard to get it to stand out. My paints might have just been too muddy. I don't know. But this here is my cat Pinkston in front of my temporary desk setup. I thought I'd do one more little robot Todd in the background. It's the last one this year, I promise. 3 days left. And this will be like a little intro if I do like a poster of all the ABCs. And I just wanted to say too, I really appreciate all you guys supporting me through this year-long project, and I'm gonna just keep going next year too. So if you want to stick around, I'd love it. And seriously, thank you so much.